So I'm thankful to my colleague from Punjab. He has already mentioned all the necessary adjuncts and details, so I can easily skip the intro. My work has been supervised by Dr. Athar Inam, and I am currently working as an instructor at the Aga Khan University Hospital. So, as has already been mentioned, that awake craniotomy is an important technique which has shown to improve the neurological as well as surgical outcomes of brain tumor patients. I had a small video as well, but we can skip this. So, I'll come straight to our study. The primary objective of this study was to assess the functional outcome of the first 200 cases of awake craniotomy performed at our center for excision of brain tumors. And our secondary objective was to compare the functional outcomes after awake craniotomy with cases which were performed under general anesthesia. So this was a retrospective case control study, and we included patients during a period of 5 years from November 2015, when we first did our awake craniotomy case, till November 2020. 200 cases of awake craniotomy and 100 cases of brain tumor resection under general anesthesia during the same time period were included in the study, and all these cases were performed at our center. So we had obtained ethical exemption because it was a retrospective review, and we used Karnofsky performance scale to assess the functional outcome of the patients preoperatively as well as on the last follow-up. So patients who had undergone craniotomy for tumor resection under scalp block, irrespective of their age or gender, during the 5-year period were included in the cases, and the first 200 cases of brain tumors dissected under general anesthesia during the same time period were included as controls. So we also performed statistical analysis to assess any correlation. So out of 200 awake craniotomy cases, 79% were males and 21% were females, whereas in the general anesthesia series, 66% patients were male. The mean age in awake craniotomy patients was slightly less as compared to the general anesthesia patients. An important finding was that the mean hospital stay in patients who had awake craniotomy was statistically significantly less as compared to those patients who had undergone surgery under general anesthesia. And the mean follow-up in both the series were almost comparable. So the most common presenting symptoms in awake craniotomy patients was seizures, because most of these were lower grade lesions, whereas in general anesthesia case, among the general anesthesia cases, motor deficits, headache, and seizures, they were all almost comparable presenting symptoms. The most common location was frontal lobe in both the arms. And the most common lesion, the histopathological diagnosis in the awake craniotomy cohort was oligodendroglioma, whereas among the patients who had undergone craniotomy under general anesthesia, the most common one was astrocytoma, and most of these patients were actually glioblastoma patients. We compared the extent of surgical resection with the technique of anesthesia, and a common notion is that if when we perform awake craniotomy, our tendency is more towards safety and less focus towards extent of resection. However, we found that in most of our awake craniotomy patients, we had achieved gross total resection. And this was in contrast to the patients who had undergone surgery under general anesthesia, and this was statistically significant as well. Regarding the change in functional status, there was significantly improved outcome in terms of Karnofsky score in the patients who had undergone surgery under awake craniotomy. Now, out of 200 cases, 31 of our patients had new intraoperative neurological deficits during surgery. But at last follow-up, only 4.5% of these patients had persistent deficits. So more than half of these patients had only temporary weaknesses which occurred during surgery, and they had recovered from them by the time of last follow-up. In contrast, general anesthesia patients had more persistent neurological deficits. Same is true for the intraoperative speech deficits as well as intraoperative worsening of motor power. Most of the patients, more than 50% of the patients of awake craniotomy had intraoperative, of those who had intraoperative deficits, more than 50% of those recovered by last follow-up. This is a very important slide. It shows that in the awake craniotomy patients, the preoperative KPS and postoperative KPS had a statistically significant difference. However, in the patients in general anesthesia group, the difference was not significant. So awake craniotomy definitely leads to better functional outcome. The limitations of the study is retrospective study design, and the two study groups were unequal. We can conclude that awake craniotomy is a safe tool for resection of brain tumors, and most complications which arise during surgery recover by the time of last follow-up. There is shorter hospital stay in awake craniotomy patients, and there is better chance of improved functional outcome in these patients as well. There is a better extent of resection in patients undergoing awake craniotomy as compared to those undergoing general anesthesia. Thank you.